Good evening, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. I am your host, Vigor Warriors 2, and we're doing another one on this evening just to kind of get through some of these great ideas you guys had, and I kind of wrote a bunch of these down, and we're going to have a bunch of these over the next couple of weeks. I have about 20 of these, plus I think we had some extra ones this week. But once again, I want to give you guys a lot of grateful thoughts and blessings, and I hope you guys have a great Christmas coming up. Merry Christmas to each one of you guys, and Happy New Year. We'll talk more about those, I think, tomorrow. This is, I think, December 23rd right now. I think the 24th is tomorrow. So the thing is, we want to kind of go ahead and bless everyone out there. You guys are doing a great job of leading the charge and continuing this whole idea of becoming the best men and the most sufficient warriors you can be. But being a warrior takes discipline, takes self-discipline to be able to handle all those temptations out there and not to kind of succumb by all these kind of crazy ideas and things that are just going to kind of be deviant behaviors that you have to avoid. So you got to continue to be in the Word of God. Make sure you realize that bless God, be grateful for God's giving you all these blessings and this understanding of semen retention, because not everybody has this type of understanding. A lot of people are not aware of this. A lot of people have never been taught anything about this, and whether it's brahmacharya or celibacy, sophism, they haven't been taught about any of this, and so that's all very new to a lot of these people, and they'll dismiss it because they see all these doctors and all these people talking about how bad this is for you and all this other kind of crazy nonsense. And there's reasons behind this. When you realize that people are out there, and there are evil people out there. Now they're being used for evil purposes. I don't know. I don't think any person is naturally evil. I think that the evil one uses them, obviously, and entices them with profit and those type of things, and so they take advantage of that. And maybe that's what I mean by being evil. But that evil is there, and they're not really interested in you. They're interested in making a profit. So whether they can kind of create fear in you by saying, you shouldn't be doing retention, you shouldn't be retaining, it's not good for you, all those type of things, that's just making a profit for that person. And they're not thinking in terms of you, they're thinking more in terms of themselves and being enticed by the evil one. Which reminds me, we go back to we talk about technology and SR in the last one. We'll talk about one, and this is, I think, a shout out to Amee, I believe is Amee, and I appreciate this, Amee. I appreciate this comment, because you're really kind of talking about how you look under semen retention. So let's kind of talk about this one. Before we do that, please go ahead, subscribe, comment, like. Subscriptions are going through the roof. I think we're at almost 1,500 now, and I appreciate that a great deal. It makes me feel very humble to know that as your servant here, my friend, and your part leader, part servant, that we're accomplishing something here and facilitating this discussion and kind of creating some ideas on this channel. I'm hoping the next year, I think we're about a year and a half into this. The start of next year, we're going to try to do more. Like I said, at this point in time, I'm trying to save some money to go ahead and maybe go back on the computer, get a computer specialized for this, get into a room that I can actually kind of call a studio of some sort and do more with this as time goes on. But the major purpose I don't want to lose sight of is the fact that we want to get this message out, and that's the most important thing. So in my mind, I'll do this from any place I can just to get some messages out to you guys and to all the people that we have coming on board. So certainly that's the goal. So back to Amee's comment, looking good on semen retention. So, and the question probably is, why do I look good on semen retention? Now, I don't want to kind of get into this, take it from an egotistical perspective, because I think certainly that's not me. That has never been me. I think that it's a nice comment when someone says, okay, well, you look a lot younger than 61. You look younger. You look like you're getting younger every day. Those are very nice comments. But all that really says to me is that the things that I have been doing, I've been doing the right way, and it looks like that a lot of that stuff that I was told back in 1998 in Kelder's book, The Fountain of Youth, was actually true. All those type of exercises, and certainly semen retention, all those things really, um, really were true. And I think that's why I see this now. And all the stories that you hear about people who are living to 100, 110 years old, practicing a lot of this type of stuff. I remember a gentleman, 95 years old, had an interview and was talking about this one time, and he had said that, his success was to make sure he understood, women, and kind of stayed away from women at times when he had to, and not give up his energy. And I think he was referring to semen retention at the time. He didn't say that semen retention, but I think that's what he was referring to. That he's not going to give up his energy for women, basically almost like that lion, right? That, once again, I always think about the lion. How would the lion react in a situation like this? They would sit there and they would do their own thing. If women want to come and join them, they're going to come and join them. They're going to hang on that lion, whatever they got to do to get their attention. They want that attention so bad, they forget about everything else. And this is what you see. And so the bottom line is, it's a two-edged coin. I think Eduardo and a bunch of other people said that on one side of it, you have a sin, of course, of releasing intercourse, affairs, all this kind of all adultery stuff. On the other hand, you have some strong sexual energy that can be done for a lot of great things. You can use this energy, if transmuted the right way, to accomplish things. Why do you think that men created all these buildings that you see in front of you? Where do you think all these things came from? Going back to the Dark Ages and all these other Egyptian times, how do you build all this? You have a pyramid in Egypt. How was that built? We didn't have the kind of technology we had now. Can you imagine all the time and effort and all the energy that men had to do that? And that goes back to that sexual energy. Now, women, of course, women can help and be, but they don't have that physical strength like men do, most of them. And the thing is that men who are truly strong men are the ones that have to do this kind of stuff. And they have to build. So whenever you hear this kind of craziness in society talking about how men are not needed for anything, all you got to do is look around you to see what men are needed for. And once again, it's the two things we talk about. Provide and to protect. And if you have men who are demasculated, like they're trying to do in their society, you're going to have a country that's easy to be attacked. And I believe that's kind of one of the purposes that you're seeing here. That you make the country weaker, they're easy to be attacked. And you want to continue to have strong masculine males to avoid this. So males, we have to realize this. Now, why do we look good in semen retention? Well, let's kind of look at just the information behind retention here. So remember that if we think of things in terms of energy, we're thinking in terms of the fact that you have these chakras, energy systems within your system that keep rotating once you do exercises and you're able to continue to work on the types of exercises that Kelder talked about in his book, and you're able to transmute that in energy, especially through that sixth exercise, and that's transmuting the sexual energy upwards. Now, the reason you do that is because you want to keep those chakras going. And when the chakras keep moving along, then they keep twirling. That's when you're younger. As you get older, they go slower and slower. And the thing is when people get to the point where they're going to pass away, they've shown that those become really slow. And it makes perfect sense because they're not moving around, they're not exercising, they're not doing things. In fact, the society tells us in so many ways that, oh, you're old, relax, don't do too much, don't strain yourself, those type of things. And once again, guys, everything is set up to make people feeble and old and things like that. I don't believe that one minute anymore. I think you can become strong. And are you going to be as strong? Am I going to be as strong as I was at 20 years old? Probably not. Because we do know that what happens to muscle and as time goes on. However, do you have to be a feeble, weak, infirm person? No, you don't have to be. And so what ends up happening to people is that they kind of put themselves in a mind frame that I'm going to look older, that I'm going to go ahead and just be infirm, which means you can be sickly and not be able to do anything, and then I'm eventually just going to go pass away and die. But that's not what you should be. As a warrior, you should be fighting until the end of your days. And I remember this, I had a cat like this, one of my favorite cats, and he fought 21 years till the end of the days. He would not just give up, and basically he just passed away in his sleep. But he was fighting all kinds of sicknesses that cats have. And he lived almost 22 years, which is amazing. But that battle, that type of attitude is what you got to have, in my mind. Now people say you're Vigor Warrior, you're crazy. You're a crazy one. Well, maybe I'm crazy. But the bottom line is that's what warriors should be. That's that strength mentality. Now, let's go back to Amee's point here. What are we talking about when we talk about looking young? Well, those chakras are moving. You're basically still looking like you're in your 30s or 40s. I don't care if you're 60 or 70. If you continue to get those chakras moving and you're doing things, you're going to continue to look younger. And as time goes on, you're going to age. Of course, you're going to have some gray hair. You're going to be able, but what happens is you look younger. A, because you have all this energy within you. B, you have all those nutrients within you, right? You're keeping all those nutrients. You're fighting off disease. The stress level is not as large. You don't get as depressed or anxiety levels because of retention. You have all these positive things that are happening to you. You're focused more. You're becoming more successful. You're feeling better. And I think lots of people talked about this. You feel a superhuman power here. And I can't emphasize that enough. Even after 935 days, something like that. You're feeling strength. And because of that, you're going to feel better about yourself. And a lot of people's outside of attractiveness, which is why you get the aura and the light and those type of things as you look at people, and people see that. I saw that again today at the grocery store. A person looks at you and all of a sudden a woman starts smiling. The guy says, "Thank you, sir," or good afternoon, sir. These type of things never did happen to me before retention. Now the respect level you get, the courtesy, the people reaching out to help you is amazing. Those type of things make you feel better. And as you feel better about yourself in the inside, that's going to show, in my opinion, on the outside. And so you, in fact, can get younger looking as you get older, because you're going to have that confidence, maturity of someone who's in their 60s, but you can still look like you're somebody within their 40s or 30s, depending on when you start all this. And I think what ends up happening, to my mind, is you're slowing the aging process down. And I fully believe that, because I think you talk about these chakras again, your energy levels, and keeping the nutrients. You're not losing nutrients, and you're keeping those chakras moving by doing exercises and getting out there, specific types of exercises for those areas, especially the reproductive one. And you're basically keeping that level to the point where the chakras keep moving along. And as a result of that, they're not slowing down. The chakras keep at the same pace year by year. And so you can get into your 60s and 70s, 80s, and 90s, and we'll test and see. Obviously, in myself, I'm 61, and we're getting about 61 and a half here. So we'll get to 62 pretty soon, and we'll see as we go along how long this continues. But I'll tell you right now, the last 3-4 years, I have not felt better. I've not been sick. A lot of people are getting sick all over the place around me, but I'm not getting sick because I don't want to get sick, and I don't feel like getting sick. I feel too good to get sick. Now, I will say that my problem, one of my issues still, is eating too much. And I just kind of overate about a couple hours ago. I stopped eating about 8 o'clock, so about 6:30, something like that, I ate too much. And I go through my intermittent fast. And by the way, I had a few people talking about that. We'll talk about that too. But intermittent fast between 8 in the morning and 12 tomorrow. I'll probably do it longer because tomorrow is Christmas Eve. But the thing is that as you look at this, the reason you're looking good is because you're keeping yourself in good shape, but you're keeping yourself confident, and all these great things are happening to you. You feel powerful. And because you feel powerful, you look powerful, and you look better all the time. And so, of course, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you're going to like the look you have. And I think I did a video on this one time before. But you're going to like the way you look, right? You're looking better all the time under semen retention. And so Amee's right. Because when you practice this, you're practicing. And this applies both to men and women. I think in women's case, I don't talk a lot about women on the channel. When we talk about women, a lot of women, I believe, this is just my opinion, but I believe with all the makeup that women have put on all the years, it's got to hurt your skin at some point. In the sun, a lot of women used to, be in the sun all the time. It looks great when you're in the 20s. It doesn't look so good when you're in the 40s. And so what happens is that they have to go ahead and kind of practice these type of things, retention as well, to kind of make themselves look better as well. And this is probably one of your best beauty ideas of all. Not the stuff you're buying in the stores or people want you to buy through all kinds of advertisements and things like that. That kind of stuff is just to make a profit for them. They want you to buy this perfume or this cologne or this makeup to make them money. And somehow, it's going to highlight you. And of course, all you got to do is look at people without makeup and you'll figure out what they really look like. And this is why I think women, their outside looks struggle a lot. Women who don't use a makeup, and I know several women don't use a makeup, they don't have the same sort of look because of the makeup, but their face looks great as years go on. In their 40s and 50s, they look phenomenal. And because they did not have that makeup, and I just think all the chemicals in that makeup have got to affect people's makeup, so they look different that way too. So the thing is, men can look good. And remember, guys, also, as men get older, they become more attractive. And the reason I say that is because they become successful, mature, they understand how to handle women better. Even though we still struggle with the idea all the way through, we still get a better understanding of things because we're learning things as time goes on. We're achieving goals. Once again, we're transmuting this information. Even guys, even people who don't know semen retention, they learn how to transmute this stuff in their 40s and 50s and 60s by nature. Because what happens is that by nature, they just do it. They're not chasing women anymore. They're putting their energy into other things. So just because you're not practicing semen retention doesn't mean you still can't transmute an energy. You may be practicing semen retention more than you did when you're 20s, but you're still not, you may not realize the connection. That's why it's important to kind of really focus on the connection, because a lot of us don't realize that. And Napoleon Hill's idea brought it back out to me when I read about it back when I was in my 20s. But the idea was that you have to think about this in terms of saving energy. You're using the energy and saving it for things that you can kind of accomplish in the future. So again, I think it's really crucial to understand that semen retention can create so many benefits for you. One of the things for men especially, and women too if they use it, they can go ahead and look better and look younger. Kelder's book, talking about the fountain of youth, is really what we're talking about, the fountain of youth. You can slow down those chakras. You can keep those chakras going at a fast speed. If you do these exercises, you've practiced retention, and all of a sudden you're able to continue to transmute energy throughout your system, not to dissipate it, so you're going to be weaker, but be stronger, and all of a sudden that's going to help you then create those positive results, and you're going to actually look better. You're going to look like you're still in your 30s and 40s when you might be 60, 70, 80 years old. And I believe that's the case. And we'll see what happens in my case, as time goes on. But I appreciate all your great comments telling me that I do look younger, and I appreciate that. It's very flattering, and I'm always flattered by young ladies that I ran today. They must be in their early 20s or something like that, and just complimentary and flirting and things like that. It's just it's a nice feeling. I guess that's the way I put it. It's a nice feeling at my age. Now, a lot of young guys can take advantage of some of that stuff, but remember again, the consequence is always something you have to look at. What do you really want to accomplish by this? It's one thing to just get a flattering type of thing. It's another thing to kind of move on it and to continue to, kind of look for someone that you want. But again, my recommendation always is to find one person and you save your energy for that person, but then also use most of your energy for other types of things. All right, my friends. Well, once again, Amy, thank you for your shout on this. I appreciate your commenting on this, and I appreciate providing a good topic for us to talk about in this one. Okay, my friends, this is December, I think, 23rd. You guys have a great rest of your evening. We'll talk again very soon. Until then, every new day is a wise day for a wise warrior, and God bless you guys, and battle on!